Hi, I'm Peter Haddock, and I'm here with Bill Hill, one of my great friends of the industry, Lighthouse Club CEO. Bill, we've just been talking about a new mental health survey that's been done for Causeway Technologies, but it's actually been done face to face with Trevor Stevens, ex-footballer and now ambassador for mental health. And some of the findings were shocking, as we know, and as you know, but some of the positives that also came out of that were quite interesting, with people saying they're open to being monitored for their mental health, and they're open to having devices like apps that I know you've got to help them to get connected within the industry. This is really important. It seems to be a little bit of a shift and a change in people's thought processes.
I came here today to see what was new, because there has been a lot of research into this area, and it comes up every year. In fact, the industry does seem a bit overawed with the amount of research it does go on. So I came here sort of with an open mind, but just to kind of learn something, and good news, I did. So it was really quite encouraging to see that stat as well, because that was a new stat to me about the number of people that would be very much open to being monitored. And how are we going to monitor them? Because nobody wants to be in a society where you're being checked up on all the time or whatever. But the good news is that people are happy to they recognise they've got issues, and they want to find some way of getting support and being monitored through that process. So that to me was a good revelation. Then the other thing was new to me today was trying to triage into using football as well, like using the companies, the support mechanisms and football together to triage to do it. Again, it was quite a high number for me. Was it 68%?
68, something like that.
Percent of people said they follow a football team. Well, being an egg chaser all my life, I said I didn't quite know. Well, I did know who Trevor Stevens was, but football has never been something for me. But I know it's the number one thing for the nation. So if that's another way of getting to the people we want to get to, absolutely brilliant, Pierre.
And so, the other thing and you're wearing it today, is the sort of sense of visibility. We've always talked about the fact that, if people can see the support out there, then they're more likely to actually, take people up on that. But also, it gives another opportunity for people to say, hey, look, I'm here. I did your mental health first aider course in January this year. I found it quite tough because I've been through my own mental health journey, but actually the people that were on it and the shares that they delivered some were horrific. Somebody had walked into an office and seen somebody that had literally hung themselves, so they had to deal with that, but that had brought them on to wanting to be a mental health first aider. And all of these different people have their different journeys as well. And the fact that we can have people doing that now and recognizing and looking at these individuals and going, there's not something not quite right with you today, Bill. Are you okay? And asking the question twice, are you okay? That's important now, isn't it? That we've got, the triage you talk about, the mental health professionals in the workplace, in the environment of construction.
You don't have to be a professional.
No.
To ask the question twice.
Right.
What you need is a space and time to ask it, and not be so busy yourself that you can't be interested in somebody else. There are issues. Men are not wonderful at talking about this stuff.
I know. I'm one of them.
So it's difficult to open up that conversation. But my belief is men are as equally as capable as women at talking about this stuff. It's just that we choose to close down that antennae, because whether it's workspace, time, and how we feel. So the more we give the opportunity to allow people to talk to other people and say, hey, I have noticed you've been late to work for the last 3 days. You're never late. What's the problem?
It
could be nothing. It could be the traffic's bad.
Well, exactly. It could be the roadworks or something like that.
But the fact you're asking the question, you've noticed, is the breakthrough, and somebody responding in an appropriate way. Or he might say, actually, I'm going through a bloody difficult time at the moment with a family or whatever, or finances or whatever it might be, and opening up. But then the next thing is, well, once you overcome that stigma of the talking, is how the heck do you get that person to kind of help that person needs to see them through that process. And that's where charities like ours come in, because we've got all the assets to be able to put, and the resources to put to play to help people through to get to the other side as well. And it's not fair if you're a mental health first aider, trying to take that burden on, for instance, you are a first aider. You stop the bleeding and you pass on to the professionals to help people through the process. And it's known to let go of that as well is really important. But it's really great that the industry has got around the whole idea of getting some people with extra skills on site. And one of the things we're trying to do is to get more of the black hats on site trained up, because often as a black hat you get put into a supervisory position because of your technical merit.
Right.
You don't always have the soft skills to go with it.
Well, there you go.
So it's about how do we build those soft skills in? How do we just get somebody just to be more aware? And they can be technically brilliant, but not actually wonderful at being a people manager. There's a lot of shouting goes on in this industry. A lot of shouting. And objectification of people. Like, I need 2 bods up there now. Oh, wait a minute, that's John and that's Fred, and Fred needs to get home because he's got a daughter who needs help and support at home, and you've just told him to get up there now and work extra hours.
Exactly.
Because you treat him like a bod. But if you knew John, you say, actually, John, not you, but maybe Jim, could you hand it? Because you don't have to get away. But I know John needs to get away to home. And that's just being a human and knowing your workforce, which is difficult in this industry as well, because there's so much movement of workforce as well with agency workers, working with different people every day. So it's difficult getting to know people as well. So it's a tough old world we live in here.
You just mentioned earlier you're something to pass it on to. We had this analogy today where, football, there's 11 people on the pitch as such, and unless you pass it to your colleagues, there's no way you're going to score the goal. And the goal here, and the goal which literally opened up the whole discussion here, was to save a life. And unfortunately already that's happened with the work that has been discussed with Everton in the community and things like that as well. But as we pass it to the right professionals, it's really important to know. But equally, what we're saying in the Lighthouse Club is pass on your details to the industry and to your colleagues, and make sure people know that the Lighthouse Club is there, because I know the one thing that you hate and the one thing that keeps you awake at night is knowing that you as a charity could have helped if people had just known you were there. And so tell people where to find you, Bill.
We've run this big campaign called Make It Visible. And Make It Visible is about making welfare and well-being support and construction visible in sight on every site. And what we're trying to do is get every site to put the posters up that we've got. They're all free. You can download them, you can print them off on your site, get them up on site. We've also got these vans running around the country as well.
I've seen them.
And inside the vans, we've got basically 2 tradesmen in each van, and they've all got a life story to tell as well. They've had some lived mental health experience, and also they're trained mental health first aiders as well. And what they do is they go on site, the site does a stand down, and there's this standoff happens immediately. Somebody's come to talk to us, you must from HR. Well, no, these guys are tradies. And the beauty of that is immediately they create empathy on site. So they're doing 2 things for us. One, they're breaking down the stigma, and they're getting people to talk about it, and they get people to talk because they are one of them. And the second thing is, when you do get people to talk, then they get out their little card and say, look, if you do need help, struggling, help us here. And they tell where people to go. So it's breaking down the awareness and breaking down the stigma and building awareness at the same time. Now, Peter, one of the things that just that makes me just bubble up is that we've seen 30,000 people on site this year so far.
Wow.
30,000 people on site this year so far. And out of those, we've had over 200 have come after that discussion to our guys and said, look, I am right at the end. I have seriously thinking of taking my own life. And we've got them into counselling immediately. And thank the Lord, they are still with us now.
Wow.
So for me, the programs and services that we're delivering and this industry is supporting, because the industry supports us financially, is actually genuinely saving lives across the piece. So what's happening here today with the launch of this campaign with Causeway and Trevor Stevens is it's adding another dimension to that. So we've already talked to Trevor about, well, if you can get football ambassadors to want to go out onto site, we've got a ready-made infrastructure where these guys are going out to site. In fact, we're booked up to June next year with these vans.
Wow.
Is that you can plug in at any one of those and put one of your footballers on site, or a celebrity of any type, really.
Yeah.
But footballers is where we're going. Is you can come and join our vans and come to a site, and then it's only going to take that same program, but even take it to a higher level. But where do they go? Helpline. It's open 24/7, which is 0345 605 1956. 24/7. We're always there, and we've got your back.
So there you are, folks. Message here today: mental health is an issue in our industry. We know that. We know that it's a big issue with the male population, but also with the female and other people from different backgrounds. All struggle with mental health. We know that there's the Lighthouse Construction Charity here as well, but equally, let's get those footballers in the vans to go and see them, and we might be able to get somebody with the odd-shaped ball from the rugby community as well. How's about that?
I'm going to start working on that now.
Great to see you again, Bill.
Yeah,
Cheers.
pleasure.